Hello there. My name is Blythe, and I'm going to try to convince you to change your password. So that's what the next 5 minutes will be about. I'm not going to lie. For over a decade, I've hated seeing the emails or pop-ups that told me to change my password every 90 days. It was anxiety producing. I would have to remember this password, and I have to type it in umpteen times. But password data breaches are all the rage these days. Very popular websites have been breached in the past couple of years. Chances are that your username, which is often your email address, and your password has already been leaked. You can quickly check this by going to haveibeenpwned.com. About a week ago, 500 million Yahoo accounts were breached. The fallout from this is still completely unknown. I'm not here to teach you how to hack, but it only takes a couple of hops once you've taken over an email account to get full control of a number of other accounts. So I started really simple a year ago. I use LastPass, which is now part of LogMeIn. I pay them, but they also have free options. However, there's alternatives, and that's good because that spurs competition. So this is not a specific sales pitch, this is just what I happen to use. If you've never heard of LastPass, when I use it in the browser, it'll prompt me to remember my password whenever I go to a site. For the past year, I've simply clicked yes, for the most part, just passively storing my existing passwords. The best feature that I have is that I no longer have to remember my passwords. However, the second best feature is that I can tell it to use upper, lower, numbers, special characters, and pretty much every website has different rules, and I've been using this to get random passwords. LastPass also has a security challenge as part of their service. I decided I'd go ahead, take the challenge, and see how I was doing. I'm going to share the results with you now. So to be honest, it was actually a lot worse than this when I started. I collected over 300 passwords passively over the course of the last year. My practices were not terrible, but I still ended up in the top third of all LastPass users, but now I had a game to play. So I had 6 sites that I didn't even save the password because I used LastPass wrong. In many cases, I simply used the launch button inside of LastPass, and it was like temporary EC2 training devices and things, so I cleaned those out. I cleaned out like 50 of them. Which brings me to what I would do on stuff I encountered that was really something I no longer needed. There was no guarantee anymore, if there ever was, that sites had not leaked your password, right? There's also no guarantee that they do any type of cleanup. So before you actually close your account, you want to make sure that you're changing your password to something random, because that can get leaked later on with the password that you actually use on other sites. I was really surprised to see that originally there were 4 passwords that I had that were likely compromised based on the website that I was logging into and the amount of time that I had since I changed my password. Luckily, according to I've Been Pwned, none of them were actually put on a paste bin. Here's the part that really took some time. I sat there and opened up many websites. I slogged through that dreaded dance of change password screens, email links, text message codes, and each website was slightly different. Quick note on the duplicates. This does not mean that I used the same password for 99 sites, although there was one particular password that I was using on a plethora of sites. I wish this worked a little better because there are some things that are wrong with that duplicate thing. So I had to talk with my wife about setting up LastPass because there are things like Netflix and Hulu passwords that are needed for all the devices for the kids and stuff. This was a really hard conversation because the only experience she had with LastPass was our banking software, which was a terrible experience, right? You should also set up multi-factor authentication. For those not familiar with this, there are services that produce a number that's only good for about a minute, and then you use this in addition to your password, so that you have 2 pieces. So after an 8-hour journey, I'm much more satisfied with where I'm at. I'm now in the top 3% of LastPass users. I have an awesome master password, which I can remember, and I've got an awesome security score. So my recommendations to you are to select a password manager and use it. At least passively. Collect all the passwords. Remove your junk and clean up. Log in, change your password, and then close accounts that you don't need to use anymore. Change all of those pwned passwords immediately. Don't use the same passwords for multiple sites. Find a way to level up your shared passwords and use multi-factor authentication. The Bureau of Justice Statistics estimate that 17.6 million Americans about 7% have been victims of identity theft. And in the last 6 years, there's been $115 billion that has been actually stolen using identity theft. And that's my talk. Hands up next.
I feel inspired to go home and do this now.
I started using one password, just like LastPass. It's different.
Yeah.
If we all go and do that, can we bump you down to like the top 4%?
Oh, I'm still working on it. That was just the first 8 hours of this journey.
8 hours, that's off-putting.
Mostly I was watching Mr. Robot, you know, and that like heightens the paranoia.